Ladies and gentlemen, let us officially welcome you to Mohegan Sun. And here, just outside the Mohegan Sun Arena box office, as we get set for the weigh-ins for tomorrow night's Bellator MMA, Bellator 194, our return for the first time here in 2018 here at Mohegan Sun, one of our favorite homes and venues, no doubt about it. We're here at least 2 or 3 times a year, so make sure you keep track on Bellator.com for the next time we'll be here at Mohegan Sun. But first things first, Bellator 194 tomorrow night inside the arena. We'll open the doors at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. That's local time. Fights will begin just after that, the prelims, and then the main card, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. A special 3-hour broadcast seen live and free on Paramount Network from here at Mohegan Sun. Hey, for those joining us in the live stream, we welcome you as well to Mohegan Sun. We'll get things underway here momentarily with the fighters. A look at tomorrow night's fight card. Excuse me. We'll start off with the return of the light heavyweight former Bellator champion Liam McGeary makes his return here to Mohegan Sun. He's got a contest with Vadim Nemkov ahead of him. In the co-main event, lightweight contenders Patricky Pitbull and the Stallion Derek Campos will square off, both looking for a title shot coming up if they can impress in tomorrow night's co-main event. And then, as the banner says, the Heavyweight World Grand Prix continues tomorrow night. The opening round, fight number 2, takes place tomorrow night. Chael Sonnen already with his victory over Rampage Jackson into the semifinal round. Tomorrow night, it'll be either Matt Mitrione or Big Country Roy Nelson in their rematch, advancing into the semifinal round of the 2018 Bellator and Paramount Network Heavyweight World Grand Prix. Before getting the fighters on the scale, a huge thank you to our sanctioning commission, the Mohegan Tribe, Mohegan Tribal Chief. A big thanks to Lynn Malerba, supervising for the weigh-ins, Mr. Mike Mazzulli, and chairman, of course, as always, of the Mohegan Tribal Commission, Mr. Kevin Brown. And with that, Mercedes, Lindsay, and myself, Mike Williams, let's move things forward and put the first of our fights on the scale. The prelim card tomorrow night will kick off with these 2 fighters, Hamilton and Casey. Let's put them on the scale now. First up, the fighter out of the blue corner, out of New London, Connecticut. In his second professional fight, he's 1-0 as a professional with 1 submission to his credit. Please welcome to the scale, Tyler Hamilton. $154.5 pounds for Hamilton, his opponent, making his way to the scale from Springfield, Mass, making his professional debut. They call him the Gorilla Ninja. Please welcome Pat Casey. $155.5 pounds, $155.5 for Casey. As we welcome VP of Talent Relations for Bellator, Mr. Rich Chow, to the stage. We'll have the fighters square off. First fight, Hamilton and Casey. And our second fight tomorrow night on the prelims for Bellator 194. It'll be set for 3 5-minute rounds at a catch weight of 165 pounds. First fighter, we'll welcome him to the scale now, making his professional debut. Hailing from Brazil, please welcome Peter Nascimento. $163.5 pounds, 163.5. And now his opponent, fighting out of Greenwich, Connecticut. He's 1-1 as a professional. We welcome him back to the Bellator cage. Please welcome Castria Gemma. 164.5 pounds, 164.5 for Gemma. In tomorrow night's prelims, once again, put your hands together for Peter Nascimento and Castria, Slaughterhouse, Gemma. And next up, lightweight set for 3 5-minute rounds from Danbury, Connecticut. We welcome him back to the Bellator cage as well. His professional record, 3-1 with 2 knockouts, 1 submission. To his credit, please welcome Dean the Hammer Hancock. £155.25 pounds. 155.25 for Hancock. And now his opponent making his way to the scale from Spring Valley, New York. We welcome him back to the cage as well. A Bellator veteran at 4-1 with 2 knockouts, 1 submission. To his credit, please welcome the Blueprint, Marcus Serin. 156 pounds even. And again, please put your hands together. Lightweights tomorrow night, the prelims, Dean Hancock, Marcus Serin. And now next up, light heavyweights to the scale. First up on the scale out of Newark, New Jersey. As a professional, he stands at 3-4. Please welcome Walter Howard Jr. £203 even. 203 even. And now his opponent back in the Bellator cage again, fighting out of Tempe, Arizona. Undefeated early on as a professional at 2-0. 1 knockout to his credit. Please welcome Doughboy Gerard Trice. £205.5 pounds, 205.5 pounds for Trice. Light heavyweights tomorrow night in the Bellator cage. Give it up for Walter Howard Jr. and Gerard Trice. Next up, featherweights. Set for 3 5-minute rounds. First up on the scale with a professional record of 6-8 from Dix Hills, New York. Please welcome Tom the Terror English. £146 pounds even for English. And his opponent, by way of Brazil, fighting out of Danbury, Connecticut. His professional record, 4-2, 2 knockouts, 2 submissions. To his credit, please welcome Osvaldo Carvalho. £145 even. 145. And again tomorrow night, featherweights inside the cage. Tom the Terror English and Osvaldo Carvalho. Next up, bantamweights. First fighter out of the blue corner as a professional. Early on, he stands at 0-1. Please welcome Jeffrey Then. 135 pounds, 135 even. And now his opponent making his professional debut from Waterbury, Connecticut. Please welcome Michael the Savage Kimball. $135 3/4 pounds. 135 3/4 pounds. One more time, put your hands together for the bantamweights. Jeffrey then Michael Kimball. And now our final prelim on tomorrow night's Bellator 194 card. It'll be two fighters making their professional debuts. First up out of the blue corner from Queens, New York, please welcome Ron Leon. And without Maximus in his hands, he weighs in officially 156 pounds. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner, also making his professional debut from the Bronx, New York, the boss, Ross Richardson. 155 1/2 pounds. 155 1/2 pounds. And once again, your final prelim. Put your hands together. Both fighters making their professional debuts. Ron Leon, Ross Richardson. All right, so for the prelims, again, most of those fighters in and around the Connecticut area. So again, 6 o'clock, doors open. Just after that, we'll start those first fights. If we have post-limbs tomorrow night, make sure you stick around for the final fights to support those fighters in all of our pre- and post-limbs tomorrow night. And with that, we'll go now to the televised card as we welcome the president of Bellator MMA, Mr. Scott Coker, to the stage. A reminder, tomorrow night, we'll go live on Paramount Network, 9 p.m. Eastern Time for the 3-hour broadcast, and we'll kick it off inside the Bellator cage with featherweights set for 3 5-minute rounds. It'll be Perez against Claxton. First up on the scale will be the fighter out of Newark, New Jersey. His record early on stands at 0-1. Please welcome Jose Perez. $142 1/4 pounds. $142 1/4 pounds for Perez. And now his opponent, coming off of a spectacular flying knee knockout that went viral his last time inside the Bellator cage. He's 1-0 after his professional debut in that last fight by way of Las Vegas and San Francisco. Please welcome Taiwan Speedy Claxton. £145 even for Claxton. 145. And ladies and gentlemen, that kicks off tomorrow night's fight card, live and free on Paramount Network. Once again, a hand, please, for Jose Perez and Taiwan Claxton. And next up on the fight card tomorrow night here at Mohegan Sun for Bellator 194, light heavyweights inside the Bellator cage, set for 3 5-minute rounds. We'll put the blue corner on the scale first by way of Stadiosko, Russia. The fighter comes in at 8-2 as a professional, finishing all of his fights, 7 knockouts, 1 by way of submission. Please welcome to the scale, Vadim Nemkov. .205 even, the official weight for Nemkov, 205 even. And his opponent brings a record equally as impressive when it comes to finishes. His record overall, 12-2, 6 knockouts, 5 submissions, so finishing 11 out of 12. He is the former Bellator light heavyweight world champion, returning to the Bellator cage from Kingsland. He fights out of Brooklyn, New York. Please welcome Liam McGeary. .203 3/4 pounds for McGeary. 203 3/4 pounds. On tomorrow night's live fight card on Paramount Network, the light heavyweight clash, Vadim Nemkov and Liam McGeary. And next up on tomorrow night's fight card on Paramount Network, it'll be flyweights, set for 3 5-minute rounds. Both fighters returning to the Bellator cage. First up on the scale, out of the blue corner, the fighter who brings a record early on as a professional at 2-3 by way of San Francisco. She fights out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Please welcome to the scale, Anna Hulitin. £125, the flyweight limit, 125. And her opponent for the 3rd time inside the Bellator cage, an outstanding boxer, former world champion, again inside the MMA cage, the Bellator cage for the 3rd time. Her professional record, 1-1 with 1 knockout to her credit, fighting out of Brooklyn, New York. Please welcome Heather the Heat Hardy. Official weight, 126 1/4 pounds, 126 1/4 pounds. And there they are one more time. A hand, please, for Anna Hulitin and Heather Hardy. And next up in tomorrow night's co-main event, it'll be lightweight, set for 3 5-minute rounds. 2 of Bellator's best. 2 Bellator veterans will square off, looking each for a title shot if they can look impressive tomorrow night in the co-main event. First up on the scale, out of the blue corner, the fighter out of Lubbock, Texas. His record, 19-6. 6 knockouts, 5 submissions to his credit. Please welcome Derek the Stallion Campos. £154, 154 even for Campos. And now his opponent making his way to the scale out of the red corner as a professional. He stands with 18 victories, 8 defeats, 11 knockouts, 1 submission to his credit. Hailing from Natal, Rio Grande do Norte, Brazil. Please welcome one half of Pitbull Brothers. This is Patrick Pitbull. 155 pounds, 155 pounds even for Pitbull. One more time, please put your hands together for tomorrow night's co-main event lightweights. Inside the cage, Derek Campos, Patrick Pitbull. And it's happening throughout 2018 live and free on Paramount Network, the new home for Bellator MMA. It is the 2018 Heavyweight World Grand Prix, already making his way to the semifinal round with his victory over Rampage Jackson back on January 20th is Chael Sonnen looking to see who else will advance. Tomorrow night we'll have the second fight in the opening round of the Heavyweight World Grand Prix. It's going to be a rematch. And here are the two fighters squaring off in that heavyweight contest set for 3 5-minute rounds. First up, in the blue corner, he's undefeated inside the Bellator cage, having stopped each of his opponent. Overall, he stands at 12-5. 11 of those 12 victories ending early by way of knockout. Please welcome from Springfield, Illinois, by way of West Lafayette, Indiana, and Indianapolis, Indiana. This is Matt Mitrione. £255 even for Mitrione. And his opponent, his second time inside the Bellator cage. He's 1-0, by the way, here at Bellator overall. The veteran is 23-14 with 14 knockouts to his credit, 5 submissions, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Please welcome Roy Big Country Nelson. $265 even, $265. The heavyweight limit on the nose, 265 pounds. One fighter advances in 2018's Bellator and Paramount Network's Heavyweight World Grand Prix. Give it up for Matt Mitrione, Roy Big Country Nelson. We thank you for joining us here. The weigh-ins for Bellator 194. Tickets again available right over here at the Mohegan Sun Arena box office. Doors tomorrow open at 6 p.m. local time. And we will see you tomorrow night live on Paramount Network, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central. Again, tickets on sale here. Thank you for joining us for today's weigh-ins.